So this 3060 Ti used like brand new can be yours for 220, and I will pay for the shipping within US. So watch this video till the end to know how to get this one. So let's get started. So I was searching for some good deals and found this 3060 Ti, and at least from Tech Power Up reviews, this should have a Samsung memory chips, which the only chips I recommend for this card. So I negotiated the price to buy for 220 and the seller agreed, so I headed to him to see the card and start the usual testing process, which you already know, in the trunk of my car. By the way, the same day I pick up that EVGA 3080 FTW, which I already published in the channel. So I got the card, it was in the factory box with the cable, very nice condition. So make the quick test, superposition, everything was fine. So I pick up the card, here you can see its condition, a little bit dusty, especially the fans, but we are going to make it look like as a brand new one. Now let's install the card and see what will be the temperatures. At 10-minute mark we can see that the temperatures are 72 degrees. The hotspot was running around 86, which is not bad, and card was very silent. And 1700 RPM for the fans, almost 200 watts power usage, so we can say it's in a good shape. Today we'll be cleaning 3060 Ti Founders Edition. It has some dust on the fans, maybe a little bit dust between the radiator fins. Also we'll check the thermal paste and thermal pads. Let's start cleaning the process. Before doing that, we need to open this card. The 3060 Ti is one of the cards, let's say, that I don't recommend buying used ones, as usually the Hynix memory is used in these cards, and the Hynix memory have very bad statistics of dying from high temperatures, so better your card radiator and thermos, the more that memory will last. But anyway, they eventually failing. Let's open the back plate. So why I bought the Founders Edition? Because this one seems the only one which use the Samsung memory chips, which comparison to Hynix doesn't have that failure rate. I will put some repairing shop videos about the Hynix so you can watch, see how many of repairs they are having of these Hynix memories. So on the back plate there is one thermal pad, and we can see here yes, it will be more or less close to the production date. It's December 7, 2021. So my recommendation for 3060 Ti is stay away from this card, especially AIB ones, or before buying it at least check the memory manufacturer, GPU Z, and if it's not Hynix then you can buy it. But as soon as you see Hynix, doesn't matter if it was mined or it was only gamed, they tend to fail. So I don't recommend buying 3060 with Hynix memory. Otherwise it's really good value if you can buy Samsung memory. So this one, as you can already see, I bought for 220, which is pretty good value. I already tested in the games, there is not that much of difference in performance compared to 3070, and both of them has 8 GB of memory. So if we can find 3070, it's around 300. 220 for this one, it's much better deal. Also this one compared to 3070 Founders Edition is very silent. We can see here that the thermal pads already was leaking. Now we have to take these ribbon cables very gently, not to damage them. So very compact design. One interesting thing, I just opened this and all thermal pads look like factory ones, and we can see this here. What does this mean? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This last one was always overheating because it has only this small portion of contact. The rest was laying here without any contact. So this one was getting cooled. This one was getting, compared to this one, maybe like 20% of cooling. This is one of the main reasons also why I'm always opening the cards before passing it to you guys, because even the factory ones, you see, can have this type of defects. The other look like normal. You can see the contact point. Maybe this one a little bit off, because again we can see that only small portion is laying. This should be moved a little bit to this way. Let's see the thermal paste condition. It's completely dried out, you see? It's peeling off. See? So all this needs to be removed, cleaned. Now let's check the memory modules, if they are Samsung ones or not. Let's clean one of them. So we can see it's a Samsung, and that's the only memory you have to be buying with 3060 Ti. I don't recommend risking your money buying Hynix memory. I will put in this video the reference to that channel who has a lot of 3060 Ti failures with Hynix memory, and they doing a lot of repairs. So the hotter your memory temperature is running, the sooner Hynix will die. So if there is any good cooling AIB cards, especially for the memories, the longer the Hynix will last. But eventually, at some point, they are going to fail. So I had experience with EVGA ones, I had experience with Zotacs, with all was coming with the failed memory, and that's very expensive job to replace the memory. And also when you are replacing, you cannot just replace one failing memory. That's again you will see in that service center channel. You have to replace all 8 memory modules because they eventually failing. Like you will spend money, you will send out the card to replace 1 or 2 failed memory chips. It will come back, will work maybe 1 month, 2 months, 2 weeks, then another memory chip will fail. And so when you got the Hynix memory failing, my advice to replace all chips at once. And if they can put the Samsung ones, you have to use Samsung. At least Samsung doesn't have that statistics of failing as the Hynix has. So now let's take apart the radiator and fans and start the cleaning process. Before that, let's remove these thermal pads. Also today it was announced in the rumors, of course, that a 4070 is going to cost $749, which is insane. I don't think that anybody have to buy that card, which I assume will have similar performance to 3080. Instead, just go and get 3080, which I can find in LA area for $400. Maybe you can find in your area for 450, 500 max, but not like $750 plus tax for 4070. This is the first time I'm disassembling the 3060 Ti. I like it. So the fans. Let's see how to take them apart. So the ribbon cable is glued, so we have to be very careful not to damage these cables, otherwise fans need to be replaced. So let's warm it up and try to take it apart. This side was even easier. There is very small portion of glue. Here we can see the dust, which will clean. We'll make this piece as a brand new. Now let's start the cleaning, putting everything back together, fresh thermal paste, thermal pads, and see what temperatures we'll get. So now when we clean up the memory, GPU, we can see the VRM modules is Alpha Omega, so they are using 8-phase design. So 7 on this side, 1 is here. For the memory chips, they are using 2-phase VRM, and as I said, it's a Samsung chips, which is very important. I don't recommend buying anything other than cards with Samsung chips. Also, one interesting thing which I found, as you remember, on the back plate there was only one thermal pads, which was here, and it was leaking. But in Tech Power Up, when they disassembled the card, there was another one. So it should be lying here under these memory chips. So we'll put that here, and that also will improve by a little bit. I warm it up the thermal paste to make it easier to apply. Now let's install the card and see what temperatures we get. So 10 minutes passed. We have 72 on the GPU and 85 on a hotspot. Similar temperature as before, but definitely the memory modules and the ARM chips are running much cooler. Compared to the Tech Power Up, we can see that they got 73 degrees and 1752 RPM, which is quite similar to ours, so our running 1 degree cooler and like 50 RPM less. So now I will do 2-hour testing to make sure that everything is stable